A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shibli, your trainer today. Today we'll be learning about a self-awareness tool by the name of Johari window. I'd rather call Johari window a self-disclosure tool. It's because after conducting a Johari window assessment, you tend to disclose yourself a bit more than what you've been knowing. You tend to know things that what others think about you. Okay? So let me take you through the learning aims of the program today. That is to understand and imply the techniques of the self-awareness tool, Johari window. The learning objective is, after the program, the participants will be able to conduct a self-assessment using the Johari window technique. So, before talking about Johari window, let us get into detail about what is self-awareness. What is self-awareness to you and to me? Here you go. This was a quote by the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu in the 19th century. He states that he who knows others is wise, yet he who knows himself is enlightened. This is a very precise and a very direct view of what is self-awareness. Self-awareness is basically knowing yourself better than others. Are we clear up to that point? Alright. So let me take you through, let's get into detail. Let's get into a detailed definition on what self-awareness is. Self-awareness is, according to the definition, it is being knowledgeable about what you are good at while knowing what you still have to learn and improve. Let's say that, okay, I'll take you through a classic example about myself. I know that I'm a very good swimmer, but I still know that I have areas to improve. I'm not the best in the world, but I still have areas to improve. I could do these things. I could do these styles if I learn these things. So this is basically being self-aware about yourself as a swimmer. Okay. So there's another definition which states otherwise. This is basically, the definition says that how well you have been perceived amongst your colleagues and what they think about you. You know, in the corporate world, ever since you start your career, you tend to spend a good 9 to 10 hours with your colleagues. So isn't it exciting for you to know what your colleagues, what your peers, what your subordinates, what your superiors think about you? Isn't it exciting? Do they have this mindset that you are a very manipulative, you are very adamant, or rather you are a very rude person? Or do they have the mindset of like, okay, you are a very kind, you are a very down-to-earth, a very innocent individual? So isn't it exciting for you to learn that? I know it's very exciting, it should be exciting for you to know what your colleagues, what your subordinates and what your peers think about you. So you have like plenty of benefits of self-awareness. So I have classified the benefits into two. One is interpersonal, that is the benefits that you have for yourself, and the other is the organizational benefits. So let's discuss about what the interpersonal benefits that you get of being self-aware. Number one, this can increase your trust amongst your staff. When you're self-aware, when you're a leader who is self-aware, or rather who knows what you're good at and what you're not good at, this automatically increases the trust that your staff has amongst you. Your staff tend to trust you, you know, like they believe you. They accept you as a leader. Okay, fine, my leader has his loopholes, but he's still willing to learn. So the trust, the number of trust your staff has on you, it tend to increase. Number two, this could also increase your leadership effectiveness. When you say you're a leader, you can't be just another leader. Okay, you can't be a manager and you can't call yourself a leader. You can be a CEO, you can be a CFO, you can be a COO and call yourself a leader, unless you are self-aware about yourself. Unless you know what are you good at and what you are not good at. So being self-aware could definitely increase your leadership effectiveness as well. Number 3, this will motivate your peers also to learn new things. Okay, when you have a leader who is willing to learn new things, who is always, like excited to learn new things, to discover new horizons, that automatically motivates you also to learn new things. So the same thing happens with your peers, your colleagues, your subordinates as well. When you are a leader, like who is excited to learn new things, automatically your subordinates also drives on the same way. They also tend to learn new things. They also try to expand their knowledge, to enlarge their knowledge of learning new things. What are the organizational benefits? Number 1, you're modeling a culture that is okay in your organization to ask questions and learn. What is this? Okay, fine. When you are in an organization, you always tend to ask questions. But when you are in an organization like which is completely covered or which is completely restrictive, you can't learn new things. You should be completely wise and you should be full of wisdom when you're entering to the organization. The situation will be completely chaotic. So by being self-aware, you're basically modeling a culture that is okay in your organization to learn new things, to ask for questions and clarify certain things. Okay. Number 2, this eliminates the unnecessary fear amongst your peers about you. So what happens in most of the organizations? Your subordinates are they are very fearful about asking for questions. So by being self-aware, by you as a manager being self-aware, it paves way for your subordinates, for your peers to learn things. So this completely eliminates the fear of asking questions. Number 3, this is a pathway to be a learning organization. Well, the latest trend in the corporate world, most of the organization, they tend to upgrade themselves to the position of a learning organization. An organization which always learns, which is consistently learning, which is very consistent in learning. So by being self-aware, by managers in the organization, in the first or the middle or the last level, the managers in all 3 levels being self-aware, it paves way, it gives you a pathway to be a learning organization. What is the role of Johari window in self-awareness? This is a technique which was found by the psychologists Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham in 1955. This basically, the main purpose of Johari window was to give a better view about, or rather a better understanding of relationships with self and others. Rather, what you think about yourself and what others think about you. So how does the Johari window look like? Johari window is basically a quadrant with 4 cells, out of which the first 2 cells, it talks about self. Basically, self refers to you as a person. And there's the other 2 cells, it refers to the others column. So what is others here? Others could be basically your colleagues, your subordinates, your friends, your superiors, whoever it is you choose to fill maybe the Johari window adjective list from. Under self, you have a cell which talks about information which is known to self, which is known to yourself. There's another cell which talks about information which is unknown to yourself. Under the others column, you have 2 cells which talks about information. The cell on top, it talks about information which is known to others, and the cell below, this talks about information that is unknown to others. So the first cell here, you call this the open cell. The information that you put into the open cell are basically those information which is known to you and known to others. And the second cell is the blind cell. These are the information that you put in here are those information which is known to others yet unknown to you. The third cell is the hidden cell. This is basically, the cell here basically has all the information that is known to you yet unknown to others. The fourth cell is the unknown cell. This has all the information that is known to none. Basically it is completely unknown. You don't know, neither the others know. So let us see the definitions of each cell. Cell number 1, it is the open cell. It basically talks about information about you that both you and others know. Cell number 2, blind cell. This basically talks about information about you that you don't know but others know. Cell number 3, this is the hidden self. This talks about information about you that you know but others don't know. Cell number 4 is the unknown self. This talks about the information about neither you nor others know. Are we clear up to that point? Clear. So let us see how to conduct a Johari window assessment. Conducting a Johari window assessment. Step number 1, choose a sample crowd. This could be your colleagues, your friends, your relatives, your subordinates, your superiors. The ideal sample crowd for you to get into a conclusion should be about 50. Because when you have a very small sample crowd of like 3 or 4, it doesn't give you a very good picture about what others think about you. So if you have a sample crowd of minimum about 10 or 15, it gives you a very clear picture what majority in your organization think about you. Number 2, distribute a common set of adjective lists which is downloadable from Google amongst your sample crowd. When I say a common list of adjective list, the adjective list that you're going to distribute amongst your sample crowd should be those adjectives which defines one's character. This is easily downloadable from Google. I think there's a common adjective list which is being used for this purpose. It has about 52 adjectives, so you may easily download that and you can get printouts and distribute amongst your sample crowd. Step number 3, ask them to tick the adjectives which well defines your character. Ask them to tick those adjectives which only defines yourself, your character. Alright? Step number 4, you too should tick the adjectives which defines your character. Okay? So you have given the adjective list to your sample crowd, so they have ticked those adjectives which defines your character. Whereas you also take an adjective list and you also tick those adjectives which defines your character. Number 4, classify the adjectives under the following criterion in the Johari window quadrant. So you can take all the adjective lists and you can classify under the following criterion. Criterion number 1, open self. Like I said before, this is information about you that both you and others know. So which are the adjectives that both you and your sample crowd have ticked. So these are the adjectives that fall under the open self cell. Cell number 2, the blind self, information about you that only others know. So basically the adjectives which only others have ticked, which you have missed. Maybe you are not thinking that you are manipulative, but others think that that you are manipulative. So there you go. You put it under blind cell. Number 3, the hidden cell. This basically talks about the information that's known only to yourself, that's known only to you. So this is basically the adjectives that only you have ticked, where others have not. Number 4, that is the unknown self, information that is known to none, neither you nor others have ticked. So ideally, the ultimate goal of Johari window is to enlarge the open self. Open self has all the information that is known to you and others. So the ultimate goal of completing a Johari window is to enlarge the open self cell. The open self cell is the most important quadrant. As more your people know about each other, the more productive, cooperative and effective they will be when working together as a team. So you tend to, like, if you have a very good open cell. Or if you have a very enlarged open cell, which means you are very open as a person, which makes it easier for you to cooperate, for you to work together with your colleagues or rather with your peers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's a bit from me. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.